Now today in this session, what I wanted to show is a couple of things. We're working up toward trying to document the painting of the wheel. First off, if you don't have this is a wheel balancer, and by the way, it came from Pokey. Thank you, Pokey. I cover it with tin foil just to keep it from getting terrible. I don't need it. I got tin foil around all the parts I don't want to get painted. Back masked out all the bearing areas. Sprayed on a really nice thick coat of self-etching primer, self-etching. Now, what I do is carefully look at this. I'm looking for spots that, well, believe me, you always miss something. I always do anyway. And I see one or two that I really don't like. They're right in here, in fact. It's on the other side. There's two spots I see that I want to do. But the overall thing that I wanted to show is I'm trying to get rid of these casting marks. Now, when the casting is rough, but when I'm done with this and I put the final coat of clear, I'd like it to be nice and shiny. And there's a way you can do this relatively easy. Get rid of about 90% of this. And this was the little trick that I wanted to show. Ordinary Brillo, SOS, and I'll just take any spot that's a casting. And as soon as I see the little dots coming through, and this is going to take, the whole wheel is maybe going to take an hour, hour and a half, I don't know. It's really irrelevant since we're doing a labor of love here, and most of the time when I'm doing this, I'm doing it for my own personal satisfaction, not to have a race. But what these little casting things are going to show me is I'll have now I'll probably go back and do this 2 or 3 times. Once the castings, well, you really can't see it probably on camera, it's too small here, but let me do one little spot here. Let me just do one spot to show. This really, it's easier than sandpaper, for me anyway, because it goes around corners and gets in edges, and I can get my fingernails in the edges and everything. But what I'm really looking for, see this part of the wheel, not really a critical thing, it's already smooth, but up here they left the casting marks on. I understand why they did that. Okay, here we're coming up on where this would be. Now, once I can see the casting marks, it gets pretty easy after that. I know I've got it smooth. Now let me just see if I can show this, if I can. Because some of these things, you know, when you're not Steven Spielberg, you're not even Ron Howard here, so forget about it. But anyway, this is one step that I try to include on every wheel. Because on all wheels where there's casting marks, now you can even feel it, even through a rubber glove, you can feel it. That's going to be a lot nicer than this is rough. Now let me just show this, what this is going to look like up close and personal. It's a small thing. Let's get back up here, and that's what it's going to look like. I'm pretty much going to spend the next hour or so, maybe 2 hours, I don't know, but I'm going to try to do the whole wheel that way, and once it's done, I'm going to put on another coat of primer. If it comes out that I can see it's nice and smooth, because all of these things in here, now I wanted to show the spot that I know I'm going to have to do a little repair. See that spot down in there? That's going to need a little repair. In here, this just turns into probably a whole box of Brillo to get this done. But in the end, I hope it's going to be really nice and smooth. And I hope that final, the objective here is that final coat of primer will be a nice base for the next color we're going to put on. And what we're going to do is paint the edge of this wheel with the green that matches the bike, and then put a thin 1/8 inch stripe around the wheel. So, and probably on the next video, I'll show what I do to do that. Anyway, this is a good little tip. It's a box of Brillos, about $3, SOS, and it really does an amazing job. It does a lot better of a job than sandpaper for me. And it lets you really get in all the corners and edges.